Stephanie with MetaStock. In this video, we're going to review working with local data. So let's get started. So let's begin by opening up MetaStock. We're going to be in MetaStock RT, but this workflow applies to MetaStock DC as well. And we're going to be working with our three supported local data files, which are legacy data, the new MetaStock file format, and CSV data. And we're going to start in our charting tab. And I'm just going to make the Power Console a little bit larger. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to create a custom list with the three different local data types that I talked about. And the thing that's nice is that we can have all three of these local data types into one list. So it kind of makes managing your different types of local data a little bit easier. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So to create a local data list, you can do it a couple different ways. You can right click on local data list and select new, or you can just double click and it'll bring up the new custom list. So for this example, I'm just going to give it a name, mixed local data types, and we're going to select browse, browse again, and I'm going to go to my desktop. I have a mixture of local data types in my local data folders here, so I'm going to select CSV first, and this is all my CSV files, and I'll just hit add and save. And you'll see here it has created my mixed local data types with my 12 CSV files in there. Now, rather than create a new file or a new list, I'm just going to add to the one that I've just created. So we right click and we select edit, and we're going to hit browse again and then browse. And MetaStock has remembered the location of the last place we worked from. So I'm going to select the legacy local data, and this legacy folder has the old legacy files that you would have created in MetaStock 11 and prior. So we're going to select that folder, and you can see that this window here updates with all of the legacy files. So we'll hit add and we'll hit save, and you'll see that our list of instruments jumps from 12 to 35. And now finally we're going to go and we're going to edit the list, and we're going to add our new MetaStock formatted, or our new format, which is the MetaStock file library. So we'll hit browse again, and I'm going to scroll down and look for the MS file format. We'll just select this one, do select folder. So this is a fairly large list. I am just going to select a handful of these, and we'll hit add and then save. So again, my list jumps up here. So as you hover over each of these instruments, you'll get a tooltip that kind of tells you what type of local data you're dealing with. So this one is the MetaStock file format. I'll kind of go off again so you can see the type says MetaStock. It tells you where MetaStock is pulling that data file from. We'll scroll down just a little bit. We'll hover over this one. This is our CSV. You see the type, the tooltip tells you the type again, where the destination folder is at. We'll scroll down just a little bit further and hover over one down here, and this says MS Legacy. Again, this is our legacy file type. MetaStock 11 and older versions work with these types of data types. Just to kind of quickly show you here how these are organized within a list is you typically will have the periodicity daily here, underscore, followed by the instrument, followed by the name. That is the same for all of the file formats. So here we have the CSV. This would be 1 minute, followed by the underscore, and the symbol, and then whatever is identified as the name. This one, we don't actually have the company name. It's just something that was typed in and identified in the file as the name. And then down here you can see here this is a legacy file, and it is a tick file, so it's IT underscore the instrument or the symbol followed by the name. This one is a 4-month file. This one is a monthly. Q for quarterly, W for weekly. Here we have a 2-year file and a yearly file, a 3-week file. So you can kind of see how you can quickly identify just by looking the periodicity of the file. And again, the tooltip's really nice because it just kind of shows you very quickly what type of file format you're working with. So now we're going to kind of go through some of the workflow of opening up these different files in MetaStock. So we're going to select a couple of different periodicities as well as file formats. So we're going to select a daily MetaStock file format. We'll select a 5-minute legacy format. And we will select a CSV quarterly file format. So we've got all 3 different formats selected, and we've got different intervals selected. And over here under interval, we're going to select daily. I'm going to click on Open Chart. So we're going to get this message. It says the following local data instruments cannot be opened in the requested interval daily. So what MetaStock is doing, it's identifying that we're requesting to open 3 charts, but it's also identified that only one of them is compatible with the daily interval that we've selected. So it wants to know, how do you want to proceed? Do not open these instruments or open these instruments in their original interval. So what it's trying to do is, if we were just to say, what MetaStock tries to do is it tries to compress this 5-minute and quarterly interval into daily, which it can't do, right? That's why you're getting the message. So we'll just say, obviously, if you check do not open these instruments, you're only going to get the daily chart. So we're only getting the daily chart. So we're going to go back. You can see here that the Power Console has retained all the settings. So we're going to just kind of run through that again. We're going to select the second option to open them in their original interval. So what should happen is, since the daily chart's already open, we're not going to get the daily chart, but we should get the other intervals as well. And we did here. So it's not trying any compression, it's just opening them in their original intervals. So another thing I'm going to show you, so I'm going to leave this daily checked, and I'm going to change my interval to weekly, and I'm going to go ahead and select Open Chart. You'll see that it went ahead and it did actually open that daily chart in the weekly time frame. And MetaStock can compress daily, so smaller, into larger time frames. And it's able to do that without any problems. We didn't get an error message warning us of any sort of compression issues or incompatibilities. So when you're going from, a daily file and asking it to make it into a weekly chart, because, there's 5 days, you have 5 days in a weekly bar, and you have 5 individual daily bars, it's able to compress that easily and correctly and create that weekly chart. So that's why that particular scenario worked without any problems. So another workflow I want to show you is we have some indicators, like a spread indicator that allows you to take one data set minus another data set. And you can interchange the data types with these different indicators. So for an example, I can take the MetaStock file format chart and open it up. We'll just do it in its native interval, a daily chart. And I'm going to go up here into our drop-down menu, and I'm going to select the spread, and we're just going to plot it up here. And it's going to, it's asking me, well, what do you want? What secondary instrument do you want to use? So I'll click on lookup. And the list is very similar. You can see here I can go into my local data lists, and here is my mixed local data types. So I'm not limited to just using another MetaStock file library data type. I can select a CSV file, or I can select one of the legacy files. The limitation that you are going to have is that you are going to need to have it be compatible as far as a daily to a daily, a monthly to a monthly, because it's going to have to line up those dates and those data points, right? So I'm going to go ahead and just select this one right there, and I'm going to insert the instrument, and I'm going to click on OK, and a spread is essentially one minus the other. So you can intermix and interchange the file formats when using indicators that is essentially working with a primary instrument minus a secondary instrument. So you can have a CSV data file minus a legacy data file, or a legacy data file minus a MetaStock file format data file. So you can interchange those however you like. So next, I'm just going to quickly show you how you can use these different types of local data files with your Power Tools. So as you know, in the Power Console, any custom list or any local data file local data list that you've created in the charts section will display in all of our other Power Tools. So you see here that our mixed local data types list is listed here. And you have your MetaStock files in there, and you have your legacy files in there, as well as your CSV files in there. So we're just going to run a quick scan. We'll just pick one here. We'll pick a couple of MetaStock files. We'll pick a CSV file. And let's see. No, I thought I had some legacy. There's a legacy daily. And we're just going to load 500 records. We'll keep it as a daily, and we'll just start our exploration. Oh, looks like I have a 3-day that's not compatible with our daily time frame, and that's fine. We'll just say not to use that instrument, and we'll start the scan. So again, the same concept filters through all of our Power Tools. So you can use a CSV file, a legacy file, a MetaStock file format file to run your scans. You're not going to have to do separate scans for each file type. Makes it really convenient and easy to use. There's your scan. And these are all different types of file formats. The same goes for back testing. So let's run a quick test on the different file formats. We'll select the Equus Bollinger Band. We'll select a MetaStock file format and a legacy file format. And let's start the system test. And view results. You'll see both of them completed. We didn't have any errors, so everything completed successfully. We got orders, positions, and tracks the equity. And finally, we're going to open up the 3 different chart types or data file types, and we'll attach an expert advisor. And let's select the Equus MACD, and we'll say to open up the instruments in their original interval. And you can see that the expert plots on all of the different file formats. And that concludes our training on working with local data. I encourage you to view our other videos. If you have any questions, please visit us at www.metastock.com/customer.